Finally, there's some good news for the Princess of Wales, Catherine. And of course, when I share this with you, you too will be as much delighted as I was when I found this out. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. On the banks of an autumnal now, isn't it? Looking autumn, dark clouds gathering, all that sort of stuff. And of course, we've entered a brand new month in September. Have you got any plans for September? Do let me know. What do you like to do as the evenings start to go back, particularly if you're over here in the United Kingdom and it starts to get dark? Do you do courses, jigsaws? How do you fill your time? Because you remember when we were younger, it was sort of billed, wasn't it, as the long, dark winter nights, and you had other things to do. As many people know who watch this show, I prefer to be out and about in the sunlight. I like to sit out for as long as I possibly can, simply because there's nothing like being in the fresh air, is there? You know why? It's free. Well, a northerner through and through, love. This is the thing. We don't like to spend money when you're inside electric light, unless you get a candlelight Scrooge. I know you're all thinking I've got a candle now like Scrooge. Back as ever to your royal. I shouldn't tell you these things. I can see you now thinking, I've probably got a Scrooge hat on, all sitting there looking like a paraffin lamp. Goodness, back as ever to your royal story of the day. Now, I think this is particularly heartwarming news, given the fact that, of course, the Princess of Wales has had, some suggest, the most trying year of her life so far. And when you think about it, I thought it really escalated for her, particularly pressure-wise, back in March. Remember this? When that ridiculous loon at the agency basically killed off a royal picture for Mother's Day. As many people know, I just thought it was utter stupid madness. There was nothing wrong with the picture. There's no reason why it couldn't go ahead. So what? A few Photoshop mistakes. And I told you also that, of course, the princess had a bit of a wobble about continually carrying on taking pictures herself, a hobby that's turned into something of a professionalism. And I like the fact that she now controls the pictures. So much so that when you look at this picture, that's right, the very stunning, very grown-up, very handsome young picture of an 11-year-old Prince George to celebrate his recent birthday. Well, Catherine was behind the camera once again. And that really just proved to the world that she got a lot of confidence. I thought it would look terrific. I thought he looked great. And the bottom line was, this now, I can tell you this first, has been the most used royal picture around the world in the last 15 years at least. Now, this is good news for Catherine, simply because obviously it will give her confidence back. More importantly, it just proves the popularity of the British monarchy. But the nice icing on the cake? The agencies that all decided to bank her and say, no, we're not going to do it again and we need to check, and Kensington Palace isn't a trusted source, all of that nonsense that they came up with. Well, it just proves how little power they truly have. You see, the background to this is they would have made some money on this. So big newspapers and magazines and glosses, like Hello and the Times and the Telegraph, they all printed the picture, which basically means they get free copy, and that generates interest in sales and digital clicks. So Catherine's doing a lot of good for the economy, basically saving them money by sending out a photographer, and more importantly, wiping out the agencies that thought they could control whether or not they could use the image. And the nice bit, they have to ask permission from the palace, from Catherine's office, if they're allowed to use the picture. Now, how about that for sweet revenge? Neil Shorley, the very heart of London.